Some very interesting Doomsday news for us to go over today, as insider Christian Harloff has given us 4 different pieces of information that will definitely get your head turning in the realm of Doomsday and the news that will be coming out. We're going to go over each of them, what they might mean for the trailer and for the movie in today's video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. We are quickly approaching 1 million subscribers and we would love to get there. You can make that happen. And yes, I am not Warren. Filling in today for Warren is Chris. So let's jump into the news. Realistically, what we need to do is just jump into this first of the 4 videos. He had a 2-hour-long podcast, and at the very end, this was the news that he shared. Let's check it out.
Apparently, there are multiple versions of that trailer.
Oh,
Multiple.
interesting.
They're trying to look at which one that they are going to do.
Okay.
Definitely going to be releasing that with Avatar.
Multiple versions.
The rumor that I heard is that there's in one of them, Peggy and Steve are in it.
Peggy and Steve.
Oh, yes. That is no surprise.
But no
We're
costume.
expecting that.
They have no costumes on.
Oh, no
interesting.
costumes.
Okay. Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, because I've heard that he is the reason. He is one of the big reasons why Doom is pissed.
Yeah.
What Steve did in Endgame. So yeah, we'll see.
So this isn't really a massive surprise on this one, but there are multiple versions of trailers. They are currently trying to figure out which one they want to use to put in front of the new Avatar movie, which we've all kind of heard those different bits of newses. And one of the versions has Steve and Peggy in it, but they're not in costume. Now, there are a lot of insiders who have their own plot leaks and versions that have shared that the movie is actually going to start with Peggy and Steve Rogers. So backing up from where we were at the end of Endgame, not only to that point in time, but even before that, because Steve goes back in time, is a really cool way to start this movie. Now, time in the MCU at this point is irrelevant. We're going to be jumping through so many different times, universes, dimensions, that starting in the past, but also at the same time at the end of Endgame, is a really interesting approach because it allows them from that point to retcon absolutely anything that they want to. Now, we know branches and variants are going to play a really important role, but our understanding is this is the exact same Steve Rogers from Endgame, which is a really important detail because I think it's cool that Steve is back. You know, our Steve, our Captain America. And I think that's something that's going to get people really excited. But we're not going back in time to, say, grab Steve from Civil War and pull him to our time period. This is that exact same Steve, and it's the exact same Steve where we left him off, just back in time a little bit. Moving on to the second point, this was something else that he shared.
They could be in the X-Men because they're going to be leading. Everyone knows they're leading with the X-Men. Cyclops is going to be a heavy push with him and the Summers family.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, and the Summers family. Scott Summers and Eric.
So Wolverine wouldn't be a big focus.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for everybody that Warren is not here for this one, because I know he would be jumping up and down right now to know that they're actually potentially going to be focusing a lot of the information on the Summers family, going into Cyclops and having him play a little bit more of a central role. Whereas in the Fox X-Men universe, Wolverine was the centerpiece. Everybody's rooting for Wolverine, and then you got Cyclops on the side. People always say they did him dirty. This is really an opportunity for them to rise Cyclops up, make him be that guy, you know, the guy from X-Men 97, you know, to me, my X-Men, like, that's going to be the moment that I think we're going to get with Cyclops. And I personally have a feeling that moving forward into the MCU, the new future of the MCU, Cyclops is going to have a real central role. I know that there have been rumors about Hugh Jackman's Wolverine still running around in the multiverse, but there's also a likelihood and a probability that we'll get a new Wolverine as well. And I think it's really fun that Marvel, and not surprising at all that Kevin Feige, want to have a new central character that isn't Wolverine. Wolverine has played such a central role in the X-Men franchise for many, many years, so it was very on brand for Kevin Feige to want to go a different direction. Now, Cyclops might not feel that far away, but they're talking about centering the entire Summers family and all the dynamic there. And I think that adapting and inviting that into the MCU for the finale of the Fox X-Men is also setting up Cyclops to be a really important character moving forward. Now, whether they recast or what direction they're going to go exactly with the X-Men moving forward, obviously we don't know that yet, but there's a lot of hope around these characters that we know and love being recast and thrown into the mix again. The third point that we got was also about the X-Men, and this is pretty interesting because it has some implications potentially.
And then this was the big one that I heard, is that maybe you know this already. I didn't know this.
Okay.
So we know that Patrick Stewart is going to be making an appearance here as Professor X. That we know.
Yes.
Apparently, he's done with acting after this.
Wow. That's it.
Apparently, this is it. Apparently, he's stepping down.
This one could potentially hit hard for a lot of people. Patrick Stewart stepping down, not just from Professor X, from acting in general. Now, a lot of people were surprised that he came back at all for Multiverse of Madness, and a lot of people were upset with the way he was treated. Yes, we saw Professor X die on screen again, but here's the question. If he doesn't die in Avengers Doomsday, what happens to him? Does he end up back in his universe? It all depends on what happens with Doomsday and Secret Wars ending. How do they plan on portraying the future of the MCU? We've talked about this a ton here on the channel, on the lives, and the podcast. What's going to happen to the MCU moving forward? And while we're still guessing whether that's going to include a multiverse or a single universe or a loop or how they're going to do that moving forward, this has massive implications for the characters who don't die but aren't going to be included in the future of the MCU. We know we're going to see some deaths. We know we're going to see a lot of X-Men deaths. People have made it pretty clear they don't want to see Professor X die on screen again, especially Patrick Stewart's Professor X, who has definitely had some unlucky runs at it. But potentially that's what we're planning on seeing here. Maybe at this point, Sir Patrick Stewart's like, let's make it happen. I'll die one more time for the cause, and then I'm done acting. And that's the way that this was portrayed. He's done acting completely. So you'll have to let me know in the comment section specifically on this one. Do you want to see Professor X die one more time on screen? Or are you happy with him getting some type of happy ending? Maybe he transcends into the heavens, or I don't really know what direction it could possibly go, but this news in particular hits home for a lot of people who've been fans of the X-Men or Patrick Stewart over the years, because it does kind of imply there could potentially be another on-screen death for Patrick Stewart, and we will not be seeing him again in this role. So whatever we are given of Patrick Stewart as Professor X, this is it. This is the last time we're going to see him in the role based off of what this says. And then one more piece of really interesting information that we get from Christian Harloff here. Let's jump into that.
There's going to be a total of this is a kind of the last one there's a few other ones, but this is the last one I want to give here today. But there's going to be a total of 3 Earths that are going to be colliding.
3 Earths
in Doomsday, and Battleworld is the result of it.
Oh, nice.
This one comes as really no surprise, but hearing this in this package of information that he has, he's reading it off of his phone. He's got his notes there. He has his connections, his sources, and he's saying with confidence these 4 things. And the last one isn't new information, but it definitely helps build into what we already know about Doomsday. Some of the recent rumors that we've heard state, there's going to be a clock on the screen that says Doomsday event happens in, and a countdown, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, 24 hours, 12 hours, 6 minutes, boom, Doomsday. The assumption is that Doomsday isn't just a reference to Doom, but to the event of the incursion, and this is the 3 planets that are going to crash into each other and create Battleworld. Somewhere at that point, we're going to be left off and put into the Secret War storyline, where Doom is now going to be God Emperor Doom and controlling that. Again, if we're taking inspiration from the comics, there's 2 ways that this will go for you. You're either going to end up with the Raft people, which could be the Void, or you're going to end up in the Battleworld scenario. The Battleworld scenario people might not have the ability to remember everything that happened leading up to Battleworld, other than Doom is, in charge of everything. He runs everything. This is where we see in the comics Sue is married to Doom, and nobody really remembers everything except Strange and Doom and a small handful of other people. And then the Raft people show up, which could be the Void people in the MCU, and people start remembering. There start being some issues, and a big, huge battle world scenario starts playing out before our eyes. Where different people are going to end up, you're going to have Loki's multiversal team, which is going to probably consist of the Void people, and then you're going to have the people who get caught up in Battleworld in Doom's story, where he is God Emperor Doom. All ultimately leading up to the final battle, which will eventually lead to the reconfiguration of the multiverse as we know it, as we lead into the reboot, recasting, new world, new storylines, and hopefully we get a lot of information about that in Secret Wars. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves when we're talking about that and being excited about that. But realistically, the information we've gotten here can be used to connect to a lot of the information we've gotten otherwise. One, the information about the trailer, which at this point is all but confirmed to be coming out in front of Avatar Fire and Ash. So very, very soon, we might actually end up getting our first real look at Doomsday other than leaked concept art or the chair video or whatever shenanigans the Russos are up to, which recently they have been posting lots of different teasers. But this would be a real, true first look, something to get people excited. It might even include Steve and Peggy and kind of show us hopefully something about Doom. I'm really hoping whatever teaser or trailer they give us does give us some Doom information to start to introduce him to the people. I think there'll be a lot of ominous vibes and feeling around that. But ultimately, I think that this information gives us a reason to be excited moving forward. But let me know, what do you think about these 4 different pieces of information about the trailer, about the Summers family, about Professor X retiring and potentially dying in Doomsday, and then, of course, about the incursions that will lead to Battleworld? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Everybody say hi to Warren, as like I mentioned, I'm filling in for him, and we'll catch you guys all in the next video right here on The Cosmic Wonder.
And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.